Today, I'm having a guest who believes a well done is better than well said. Mr. Aakash Bansal. He is the founder of Project Surat, an initiative that is innovative and also focuses on environmental sustainability and community engagement. With his passion to create a better future, he has also been at the forefront of projects that not only tackle environmental issues but also aim to shift mindsets. He has spearheaded initiatives like Tapijan Andolan, Aag Bachao campaign, Safai Sundays, Dua Kam, Cow Bachao, and so much more. His vision goes beyond just implementing projects. He believes in empowering individuals to become change makers in their own right. From workshops that inspire eco-friendly practices to collaborations with local businesses for sustainable solutions. His work is transforming lives and landscapes alike. Join us as we dive into his journey, the challenges he has faced, the impact he is making, and how could innovation and sustainability come hand in hand. Get ready to be inspired and learn how you too can contribute to a greener, more sustainable world. Inspired you to get involved in local initiatives and open an organization such as Project Surat?
So looking back at the problem, I started working with a lot of scientists based abroad and tried to bring some technologies that could actually help the environment and climate, the local climate of Surat. So India being one of the top fastest growing economies in the world, and we are in top 5 now,
Right.
and it is only going to increase our energy consumption also.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You tell me, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. So, since you already know about your project related sustainability, let's start with your project. So, what inspired you to get involved in local initiatives and open an organization such as Project Surat?
So I always thought that I wanted to shift to some other city altogether.
Okay.
After my college, when I came back to Surat, I saw, the city has changed in all these years,
right.
and it is only going worse by every passing day. And eventually, I thought that I should rather shift to some other city altogether. But all the networks, all the business, everything was settled here in Surat. So I thought, rather than shifting the city, why not make this city good enough to live?
More sustainable.
Yes. So hence one of my first startups was actually how to make it in Surat, how to survive in Surat. Because back then we were, with the lifestyle also, we were very backward. We always had money. It's just the city didn't have a lot of resources where people could actually spend their money.
Okay, so the correct way to use the money.
Yes. Eventually, I saw that Surat is an industrial city and requires a lot of climate tech or climate driven innovations that could actually solve the local problems of the city. Especially when you talk about Surat, we have a lot of textile factories where you see a lot of air pollution and water pollution happening. There I saw that if there is a good intervention, we can actually reverse this problem.
Right.
And one of the inspiration I took was from a project in which all the wastewater that our city generates, that goes into the STP, which is the sewage treatment plant. And all of that water is again going to the industries.
Okay.
So the recycling of water is something that I thought, if you can make money out of waste, that's a very good thing.
So using the 3 R's basically, reduce,
Yes.
reuse, recycle. Alright, moving on to the next question. How do you see the role of education and public awareness in driving sustainability forward?
So education, of course, as I told you in 2012, where I saw that people are not even talking about these issues. The only thing about climate action was, at that point of time, was just planting trees. That is it. Because that was something that Surat has seen. If I talk about 1960s, I was not born at that time, but as per the figures, the highest temperature that this city saw was 37 degrees.
Okay.
And today, in this age, in 2024, we've seen the temperature going beyond 43 degrees.
Right, yes.
So that's a wake-up call for us.
Yes.
That in less than 70 years of time, we've seen 6 degrees increase, more than 6 actually. primarily what people can see is what they see, think that this is the problem. For example, they saw a lot of deforestation that happened in the city, uh, rapid expansion, Surat being top 10 most fastest growing cities in the world,
Yes.
right? So with that, a lot of migration has come in. Uh, Forests have been converted into agricultural land. Agricultural land has been converted into residential areas. So all that transition is bound to happen when your city grows. So people thought only planting trees is going to solve the climate problem. But if I give you a figure, we are cutting down lakhs and lakhs of trees per day. On the contrary, we are just planting one.
Yes.
That's the kind of scale that we are looking at. The population has actually crossed 1 crore.
Oh.
And we were expecting that the population would be at this age would be somewhere around 75 lakh to 80 lakhs, but we've moved beyond 1 crore.
That's a lot.
Especially after COVID, where the opportunities around India were lesser, but Surat has been on the growing pedestal every passing day. So the migration has been uh, a big problem for Surat. So yeah, in 2012, people were only majorly focused on planting more trees.
Okay.
I thought that was not enough. If we look at the ocean, if we look at the river quality, the water quality that we have, looking at the air quality that we have, for me that was a wake-up call. So hence I thought education is more important. And why is it important? Is because everything starts young.
Yes.
For example, a lot of schools have now taken green initiatives.
Yes.
So somewhere or the other in the subconscious, kids or the students, they register, there are these problems and there are these solutions to it. Very small example, Surat in 90s had a plague issue. We had plague, right? So from being one of the most dirtiest cities in the world, now we are the cleanest city in India.
Yes.
So that transition took awareness and education.
Yes.
Similarly, if that education came in young, the problem would not even come. We would not even come to that problem.
Yes. So the basic education what people feel is global warming hai. Plant trees, climate change will be like finished or we'll fight climate change. But I doubt that happens.
Yes. So every small action that you take, an individual take, would contribute something to the climate change. It's just how do we reduce it?
Right. So what could be the strategies to spread awareness in a city like Surat?
Surat, I think it's a blessed city. We have a river, we have the ocean, we have irrigable land, we have industries, we have a very strong regional government, we have very entrepreneurial people. So this city has everything.
Right.
It's just people should be more aware that we have these resources. How do we optimally use all of this? Right. So Surat is already doing a lot. We are setting a lot of examples, not just in India but globally. One of the examples, as I mentioned, the industries, textile industries takes a lot of water, and that's a very big problem for the city.
Right.
We're looking at 1 million liters of water per factory on an average. If I talk to you about on an average, if we are looking at 500 plus industries, so we're looking at 50 crore liters of water per day that we are consuming. So all of that fresh water has to come from some source, right? We are blessed with a river. We have a lot of groundwater, which as of now we don't. We have a good rainfall.
Yes.
So we have all the resources with us and we're using it, right? It's just, what if someday it ends? What if it doesn't rain? What if we are not left with water anymore? What will happen to these industries? Because evidently even agriculture uses a lot of water.
Yes.
So everything has to be sustainable. So what the corporation has come up with, they were like that we are releasing a lot of sewage water. Why don't we route that sewage water to the industries first?
Yes.
So they have increased a channel in the circuit, and it's a win-win for all. So Surat has money. We can innovate, especially in the field of climate change, because every day, every month, we see a lot of people migrating to the city. So the problem are only going to increase.
So even I feel the SDG 12 is very much connected. Responsible consumption and production. So that whole cycle revolves around this SDG. All right, moving further. So, can you share a success story from your beach cleanup efforts? Because I've seen a lot of efforts I have taken to clean up Tapi Nadi and many more. That also shows the real impact of community-driven sustainability.
Right. So, beach cleanup, a lot of people think that Project Surat is a community that does cleanup programs.
Yes.
But we actually clean the mind of people. And the basic idea that came in was because I play football. So one day on a Saturday, actually I went to play football at Dumas Beach, uh, and I reached 10 minutes early, which is actually not an Indian standard time. We always reach late, but I don't know how that day I reached 10 minutes early, and a lot of my friends didn't turn up. So I thought I saw the entire beach to be very dirty. So I thought the patch that we play usually, so why don't I clean that patch?
Huh.
While doing it, we played football, and then I went back home. I took shower, and then I realized that I am still not clean. And this idea struck in. You get a lot of good ideas when you're taking a shower.
Yes.
So similarly, while taking a shower, I realized that I know a lot of climate problems that are happening, and I'm working with so many scientists. It's just no solution is coming up.
Huh.
Why don't I use Dumas Beach on a Sunday, wherein people come here in thousands, right? On Sunday especially. Why don't I use Dumas Beach and educate people?
Right.
So I invited, right then after I took my shower, I just called a few friends. Tomorrow I'm organizing a cleanup program at the beach. This is back in 2019.
Okay.
And people thought that Akash is going crazy. I mean, why is he talking stupid? He's from a
Yes.
business family. Why is he not focusing on his business and suddenly coming up with this idea?
Yes.
50 of them said, okay, fine, we'll come up to support you and we'll contribute. Only 7 of them turned up because it was 7 in the morning, the next day,
Yes.
Sunday.
That happens.
So while we were cleaning the beach, we cleared 48 kgs of waste, and a lot of people around us actually joined in.
Yes.
And somehow it went on the social media. We were not very prevalent on social media at that point of time. A lot of social media pages published it saying that Surat's youngsters have started cleaning the beach. And for us, that was enough because we didn't even name ourselves Project Surat at that point of time. We
Yes.
just called ourselves as Surat Social Society. But that's when I thought that this can become a big project. So
Yes.
I created an event, and now I knew that my friends didn't turn up because I just mentioned that it's a cleanup event. So
Yes.
I termed it something more interesting. I said it's a Dumas Beach Festival, and we created a poster in which cleanup was mentioned in the last.
Okay.
So we had beach games, we had beach volleyball, we had music, all of that mentioned, and in the last it was mentioned as cleanup. And we also charged like 20 rupees as the registration fee.
Okay.
So now the next week we saw like 500 people turn up.
Yes.
And when they saw a bunch of people cleaning, they forgot that they are here for a festival. They also participated.
Yes.
And then eventually, after the cleanup happened, we had a music band who had performed. We played a lot of games on the beach.
Yes.
So all of that happened. And after the event, all of us, we sat down and we were discussing about the climate problems, the real problems. So this idea came in that why can't we run this in a school model? Like you don't go to secondary school directly when you are in the school.
Right.
You have to do a progression.
Yes.
So why can't cleanup be the first step? Because anyone can do cleanup. You don't need a lot of knowledge for that, right? So that this is the platform that we utilize to educate people more about the real problems.
Right. So, as a very famous quote says, "Boon boon se puri nadi behti hai." I feel similarly you have taken up very small steps and then focusing on the huge ones.
So we glamorize cleanup so that people turn up because
Yes.
climate change is not a glamour problem. People know about it, they don't talk about it as much because it's not interesting.
Right.
It will turn interesting when we actually face
We
a problem of
realize it.
survival. So until then, we are more focused on what is happening in celebrities' life than what is happening next doors, or maybe in the river or the ocean, or even the air quality that we breathe in every day.
Actually, because I even feel that abhi धीरे धीरे sustainability is the trend. So now they're also focusing on the trend sustainability, but it's a good part because they're also focusing on actually cleaning the earth.
Yeah. So before 2019, when cleanup was not very prevalent in Surat, we glamorized it. We had more than 70,000 people participate in different cleanups till date. We've seen so many organizations. We've collaborated with more than 500 organizations from Surat.
Oh.
Could be a business, could be like an NGO or a government organization. So we realized the impact. Now cleanup has become, every company has been organizing cleanups now.
Yes.
We see a lot of schools doing that. So it has become a trend, and because of which in 2019 we were not even in the top 10 cleanest cities, and now we are
Here we
on
are.
first.
How do you see the intersection of innovation and sustainability shaping the future of industries?
I think innovation is required in every field, not just sustainability. Why does sustainability need innovation? Is because it's need of the hour. And as I told you, the sustainability, the innovation that is needed in sustainability field has to be long vision. It should not be something that solves the problem for another 5-10 years.
Right.
For example, people are looking for alternative for plastic bags, right? They're looking for alternative like paper bags, right? That's a very short-term alternative. It's not innovation. Innovation is that you find one problem, you connect that to the other problem, and then you come up with a solution that solves both the problems.
Right.
For example, back in Netherlands, I remember we were working in 2014 with a Dutch-based scientist.
Okay.
In that, a lot of dairy production happens in Netherlands, and plastic is a problem globally.
Yeah.
So, cow is one of the biggest polluter. Cattle industry is the biggest polluter in the world.
Yes.
Right, especially in the meat eating countries, not just dairy, that countries that eat meat on a larger scale. So cow dung was a big problem in Netherlands.
Yes.
Right, and when you see cow dung, when you see on a microscopic level, it's actually a lot of undigested cellulose. A lot of undigested food is remaining in the cow dung.
Okay.
So this scientist back then, she saw that how can we use the undigested cellulose? The fiber that we wear, cotton, is also cellulose.
Yeah.
Paper that we use is cellulose.
Oh.
So two products that she derived out of that problem was paper and fiber. And the third thing that was innovative was that she made something similar to plastic that she named mestic out of cow dung. So now she solved one problem that we can make so many products out of this. Two products which can give a lot of money because fiber and paper is expensive, the pulp of it, and especially fiber is very expensive.
Yes.
Natural fiber. So she solved two problems. Third problem was a global problem of plastic.
Okay.
So solving three problems from waste, that to cow dung. So these are the kind of disruptive technologies and innovations that we need. Now cow dung, the entire thing being biodegradable, right? It will degrade in the end. And especially right now we are wearing a lot of polyester, we are using a lot of plastic, we are cutting a lot of trees for paper. In India, more than 90% paper factories are actually recycling factories. We are recycling the paper, we are importing a lot of paper, and then we are recycling it.
Yes.
But though even that 10%, why are we cutting virgin trees and making virgin paper out of it?
Yes.
So the innovation that is required today is not short term. It has to be like a long term solution.
Right. So even one of the example which I thought while you were saying of the Dutch scientist is maybe one scientist in Serbia also invented a bench which works like a tree. So it was in Serbia in the benchmarks because the problem was there. Okay, let's say there is no space, but we need more trees. So that's how they started making a mixture and then making a bench out of it, which works as a tree. So I feel innovation is a huge part for sustainable development.
Yes. So right now, like people are replacing plastic bottles with glass bottles.
Yes.
Which logistically is a blunder because the weight of a glass bottle is higher. So when you transport that, of course, there's a lot of carbon emission. So people are actually not thinking of this as a big problem which is going to hamper our future. They are only concerned about till they are alive, right? But I highly believe that we are going to take rebirth.
Right.
I highly believe that the seed that we have sown right now, is going to give us poisonous fruits. So unless we act right now for at least 10 generations,
Yes.
that's why I'm saying 1,000 years. We have to think of thousands of years.
Okay.
Unless that innovation comes in, I think everything's a waste.
Okay. So how do you balance profitability with sustainability in your business ventures?
Uh, Primarily, I have not started any venture that is going to solve anything, because Project Surat is more like a community wherein we are educating people. We are also helping a lot of startups uh, spread their network. Um, for example, like a lot of vegan startups have come up. As I told you, diet is one of the biggest problems right now.
Okay.
If we correct that thing, I think a lot of problems will be solved globally.
Okay.
We are cutting a lot of forests mainly to grow a lot of food for cattle.
Right.
If I give you an example of India, we have more than 32 crore cattle just in India. Cattle just in India. So imagine the amount of food that they're consuming on daily basis, and that is just to fulfill our dairy requirements. So I'm not saying to eliminate dairy altogether, but maybe we can reduce it and use it sustainably.
Right.
And use it more consciously.
Yes.
So just that one bit, if let's say 140 crore Indians start using dairy more responsibly, I think that can solve a lot of problems.
Okay. What actions and local initiatives have been Project Surat involved in?
Right. So as I told you, one of the projects that we have is Safai Sunday, in which every Sunday we organize cleanup programs. That is to involve more people in the community. As I told you in the school model, the first step should be basic. So cleanup is the most basic thing that makes you step one of the environmental part of the climate action program.
Yes.
Eventually, we have phased out to more than 35 initiatives, local initiatives. Like a lot of people are talking about global warming, but what we talk about is local warming.
Yes.
So we have local warming climate action plans.
Okay.
Right. So one thing that we identified in Surat, that we are generating a lot of waste, municipal solid waste. And looking at the size of the landfill gave me a mini heart attack that, it's only going to increase because our population is increasing every day.
Yes.
With that, I saw a lot of people burning waste, a lot of commercial establishments, even a lot of scrap handlers, a lot of people, sweepers are also burning waste. So I saw this being a very big problem because our air quality was bad. It's still bad, but it was extremely bad back in 2012.
Yes.
So I saw that waste burning is one of the big problems, and to raise awareness in this topic is very critical. So I started this campaign called Aag Bujao, in which we started with a petition saying that this activity should be criminalized. A big penalty should be imposed on burning waste.
Right.
So we started a petition on which we have more than 91,000 signs as of now.
Okay, wow.
And there's a penalty of 5,000 rupees on this. We ask people to send photos, videos, location, time details to us so that we can take actions on it.
Right.
So we saw massive fires happening on daily basis. We used to get complaints, more than 10 complaints a day. And I'm not talking about small fire like a bonfire. We're talking about like huge fires, big plots, open fires that are happening. And that's directly impacting our air quality because things that were burned were rubber, plastic, things that are extremely toxic.
Yes.
And that is what we are inhaling on daily basis.
Can cause a lot of pollution.
Yeah, it's carcinogenic. It's going to give you cancer.
I know.
So that's how we started spreading awareness. And when people were aware, like 92,000 people were aware, they started sending us photos and videos. So we have that kind of data. We have more than 4,000 photos and videos of such incidents. Parallelly, we used to also deploy a fire brigade to mass fires.
Yes.
So that we can control the emissions.
Yes.
Parallelly, we were complaining that to the local authorities.
Right.
And we also used to ask the people who are sending us complaints that why don't you lodge this problem and complain on Swachhta app, which directly goes to the central ministry.
Okay.
So we were doing a guerrilla solution to this. We were not leaving even a single dot.
Yes.
as I told you, more than 4,000 complaints we've resolved in this past 5 years
Yes.
of initiating Aag Bujao campaign. And 90% of the waste burning problem within the city has been resolved. From once where we used to get 10 complaints a day to now we get 2-3 complaints in a week.
So that's a huge evolution you have
Yes.
created.
Yes. So now in the city premises, I'm not talking about the industrial belt because
Right.
that's where we have less vigilance.
Huh.
So we named this initiative as Aag Bujao, but under Surat Watch community. Like how
Okay.
neighborhood watch operates in countries like US,
Yes.
where human resources are expensive. So people, let's say, they have like a colony of 30 houses. So every house will get a duty a day.
Yes.
So the man of the house will look after the neighborhood one day. So 30 people will look after the society every single day, every single night. So
Right.
that's called neighborhood watch. So we
Okay.
created something similar, which was called Surat Watch Community. You look after your area. You report it to
Yes.
us. So we created 26 teams.
Okay.
Any problem could be waste dumping, waste burning, any car emitting a lot of smoke, any commercial vehicle emitting a lot of smoke. You report it to us. We'll take actions.
Okay.
So this created a nexus, and especially during COVID, we amplified this campaign. And Aag Bujao set an example. Even then Minister Smriti Irani, when she had come to Surat, she was taken away by this campaign's success. He said this campaign should actually go in every corner of the country,
Yes.
so that we can set Surat's example that how citizens can actually intervene and make such a change happen. And today, Surat comes under the cleanest city, cleanest air quality.
Right.
So
Yes.
Aag Bujao is also one of the initiatives that actually helped achieve that title.
Right. So I feel you've done a huge work on that Aag Bujao campaign.
I think that was just a seed because I saw a problem. It's just how to create a solution around it, and how initially, like I'm talking about the initial days, I suggested it to the commissioner that why can't we have cameras in these areas, like where there are massive fires happening on daily basis, and we can catch the offender at the right time. I also suggested why can't we have drones in the air because it is very easy to chase fire.
Yes.
You see a trail of smoke, you chase it, you find there is a big fire that is happening, and then you deploy a fire brigade.
Yes.
But to eliminate that distance, we said that why can't we have drones? But all of that was an expensive affair.
Yes.
And as you know, Project Surat doesn't even take funds. We consider ourselves as urban poor. We don't have money, but we have problems. But we have to solve it. So we thought that everyone has a camera in their hand. Everyone owns a phone. Even a street vendor owns a smartphone with a camera.
Yes.
Then why not utilize them?
Yes.
So instead of spending money, we identified the existing resources, and then we said any problem regarding waste, you send it to us.
I feel it's a really smart initiative and one of the big jump for Project Surat, and even all around, not just Surat but all over India, it's a huge jump for
Yes.
the pollution.
Similarly, after Surat, we've started 10 other cities in India. We've started Mathura, Kota, Ahmedabad, Baroda, similar.
Okay.
So every city has a unique problem.
Right.
Surat has its own unique problems. It's an industrial city, high migrant city. Mathura has different problems. Mathura also has a river, like us. We have Tapi, they have Yamuna.
Yes.
And Mathura's problem is that they have daily migration.
Okay.
We have permanent migration. People coming in here would love to settle because we have a lot of economical opportunities here. But in Mathura, people come in especially for pilgrimage. So they're there for a day or two, or maybe a week max. But when they come in, they bring in a lot of trash with them.
Yes.
They pollute the river. It's a very old city. You cannot have underground sewage system as developed as we have in Surat. Surat is a newer town. So they have their own problems. But it's actually fun to find these challenges and then work on it, because especially without money.
Right.
So that's where that's the beauty of India. We do jugaad. We have this technology that is inherent.
Yes.
But actually we can do a lot of things without money or with lesser money. Like how we sent our spacecraft to Mars and Moon
Yes.
with lesser money compared to what NASA had spent.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So sustainability is also jugaad.
Ha, that's
Ultimately.
true. Yes. Can you share any challenges you faced in making your community eco-friendly?
So in Project Surat, the major challenge was to bring all the stakeholders together.
Okay.
Like we try to create a platform wherein we have the government, we have companies, industries, residents, institutions come on one board and try to solve each other's problem.
Right.
For example, industries have pollution, right? That's a given. It's not that to solve the current climate change, the issues, we shut down all the industries.
Yes.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
Because sustainability has three pillars: economy, ecology, and equality. If we shut down all the industries, so we will only win on one point, which is the ecology.
Yes.
We will lose on equality and we will lose on economy, right? So this platform was created so that we can openly discuss about these issues and not talk about the issues that actually affect the city in a closed room. It has to come out in the public, wherein public actually advise, what can be a possible solution. Even same with the government have a lot of regional challenges, very micro challenges that can be solved only by public intervention,
Okay.
or could be solved by any company's intervention,
Right.
right? So we try to create that nexus, to reach out and to build trust in people was one of the challenges,
Okay.
because the intention has to be right.
Yes.
So since day one, we have not raised funds. We are not even a registered organization. It's a community, open community, wherein anyone can come and contribute. We have close to around 2,500 members, and from different fields. We have government officers as our members. We have people who are politicians as our members. We have industry owners as our members. So now this becomes like a dialogue. It doesn't become like a blame game. And the conversations that are happening are very open. So that's how we actually explore the deep-rooted problems of the city.
Right.
Right. So with industries, we are facing a problem wherein they are going to take up that amount of water. They are going to release all that smoke in the air. That's
Right.
one challenge. But to solve these issues, we've advised them, how can there are steps where we can reduce the intake of water. There are steps where we can decrease the emission of smoke.
Yes.
We can decrease the emission of carbon,
Yes.
not neutralizing it. Sometimes I feel that there is so much greenwashing that is happening. People are taking an area which already have trees, and they're claiming that, okay, fine, we are doing a lot of favor to the environment by balancing the carbon emissions.
Yes.
The trees are already there. You haven't done anything innovative to actually counter the carbon emissions that you are
Right.
releasing from your factories, right? So our job was to advise these industries, and a lot of industries are making the transition, because we've seen second generation, third generation coming into the industries and businesses,
Right.
and they are adaptive to the ideas,
Right.
because they have grown up in the cities. They have seen the transition the cities faced, the kind of heat waves they are facing, that over dependence on ACs that we have in our city. It's because we've raised all the forests from our cities.
Right.
So we reach out to the right stakeholder concerned about their own problems. For example, if any industry is making any emission, we are not going to educate about the industries to a person, a lady who was an 80-year-old lady who doesn't have any relevance to that problem.
Yes.
So we take the right problem and the right solution to the right stakeholder.
Yes.
That's our job. Talking about the problem that problem we are facing in this entire journey, is the biggest problem we are facing is the economy part,
Okay.
the affordability,
Yes.
especially in the farming category, where to eliminate chemical based farming towards more natural and without chemical farming.
Okay. So you have expressed more about similar points about ESE, so environmental, social, and economical basis, and how we can work upon it. So, in your experience, how do geopolitical factors influence global sustainability efforts?
Geopolitics is something that has been around since the beginning of time. Uh, India being a country which has three sides of ocean, very important for trade, very suitable for agriculture, very important to counter current China's dominance over global trade.
Right.
So we are more like a backside of the coin for the world. We are a backup option for the world in terms of China's role in global trade. So
Yes.
geopolitics plays a very extremely crucial role in sustainability category also.
Right.
Why do I say that? Europeans have been part of the entire colonization of the planet
Yes.
in the past 400-500 years. It's not even stopped till date. It's still happening. So in those 400-500 years, they have extracted all that they could from these countries that they currently call third world.
Okay.
They've mined all the resources in their industrial age. Today, they have the resources where they can actually relax
Huh.
and not being dependent on their country to be a manufacturing hub. So they are outsourcing all their requirements to countries like China, India, Indonesia, and all the Asian countries and African countries. Plus, now they are more aware of the problems that they have created back in those days,
Yes.
and they want countries like India to adapt.
Okay.
So now India is on a cusp of a problem where do we go sustainable or do we chase manufacturing, higher manufacturing?
Right.
Because if we focus more on sustainability, we will lose out to our manufacturing rivals like now developing African countries, now developing Asian countries.
Right.
So India is in that trouble. We are already facing a lot of problems due to overpopulation. So geopolitics brings in a lot of problem for sure, because we have to sell our products economically right.
Yes. Right. So, what global policies or agreements do you think are the most critical for advancing environmental protection?
I suppose one thing that is missing in the current global policies is the compensation that all the colonies should receive from the past 300 and 400 years of colonization.
Okay.
I think that fund should be created wherein that compensation should reach out to these economies. Only then it will be a fair trade,
Right.
because you have extracted everything, and now what India, from being the richest country in the world,
Yes.
controlling more than 25% global trade at a point of
Yes.
time, to becoming like a third world country.
Yes. It's been decreasing.
It has decreased, right? So I think the right compensation has not received yet. Only then we can frame right global policies.
Right.
You cannot compare US and India. You can't compare the AQI of US and India, the land size, the population. You can compare the per capita consumption.
Yes.
If you see in that with that glass, India is one of the most sustainable countries in the world.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. For whom we are manufacturing these resources,
Right.
the products. We look at per capita consumption. That's where the clear picture will come in.
Okay. So, not basically understanding not the economy, but mainly the wastage or the recycling of the things.
Yeah, everything. I think optimum utilization of resources.
So, lastly, what do you believe are the top 3 actions individuals can take to live more sustainably in their daily lives?
I think only one action is required. That is to become minimal,
Okay.
super minimal. Buy good, buy less.
Yes.
If we follow this policy, not just one person, but every individual on this planet, I think that can change a lot of things, especially the category that have the resources to spend. We are the ones who are creating demands.
Yes.
Looking at our fashion statement is what people who are below us in the economic strata,
Right.
they feel that if we want to up our game, we have to live such a lifestyle.
Yes.
We can take examples from people like Ratan Tata. We can take examples from people like Narayan Murthy. I think these should be global faces where you are an entrepreneur, you are a successful billionaire, but you also look at the amount of money that they spend.
Yes.
They spend on philanthropy. That's where it's required, at the right places. It's not that philanthropy is you're spending money anywhere. It's not. A lot of people are doing philanthropy in the name of philanthropy. They're actually still colonizing a lot of places. I would not name companies. I think it's very well evident. A lot of companies based in US and Europe, they have colonized half of Africa, in the name of philanthropy.
Okay.
They have bought lands in the name of developing Africa, but actually they're not. They're buying their lands. They are actually they're increasing the Sahara desert size by colonizing.
So hence focusing more on your needs rather than the wants.
Yeah, I think everything that you're consuming has to
Yes.
be extremely mindful. Otherwise, there is no solution.
All right.
And especially the global the leaders,
Right.
people who are the face. You can look at Mark Zuckerberg. He wears very basic clothes
Right.
for the longest.
Yes.
So that shows, even Mukesh Ambani for that matter. I mean, he's been spending a lot of money for sure, but the fashion statement that he sets, you can have a lot of money, but you look at him, he's wearing like very basic clothes.
Right.
So I think these kind of statements are very loud.
So being more minimalistic, focusing on your needs rather than your wants and demands can make a huge impact not just into economy but even ecology, as you mentioned.
Exactly. For example, if I don't have a lot of clothes, I don't need a lot of storage space. I would not need a lot of resources to discard.
Right.
Because after discarding, what happens? Right? If it's going in the nature, that's fine. But even after discarding, if it's in the landfill for like hundreds and hundreds of years, I think it's a waste.
Right.
Eventually. So the less you buy, the better you buy.
Yes.
Is the solution to all the problems that we have right now.
All right. So I feel I have gained a lot of insights from you on the ways of ecology, economy, what shall we, and innovation on sustainability, and at the same time, how to get involved in local initiatives, not just clearing beaches, but also clearing minds. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching the podcast all the way through. अगर आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आया तो लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लीजिए. Remember, even the smallest steps can make a big difference. अपने सपनों का पीछा करते रहो because the journey is what makes your story unique. Until then, keep embracing sustainability and I'll see you next time.